right, it's Sunday, July 14th, 2024. Bitcoin is at 59,800. Bitcoin's pumping. It rocketed past 60,000 after the attempted assassination on Trump. Glad he's okay. And the market's reacting. You know, a pro Bitcoin president still in the race. So, yeah, Bitcoin's pumping. It's going to be interesting what happens tomorrow because it is Sunday. Obviously, the stock market is closed, but it could be a red Monday tomorrow just because, you know, the market really doesn't like, uncertainty. They're very fearful, and also Bitcoin could be a safe haven. I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see this pump and people start to flock into Bitcoin as a safe haven. So I think this week is going to be very interesting. I did want to share a clip that both Natalie Brunell and Michael Saylor posted from Fox Business. So go ahead and take a look.
28% of young folks say they want it, and I'll tell you why. Going back to 2013, the number one asset, the number one performing asset, Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. How much? How about 315,000%? 315,000%. There's one drawback. The years it wasn't number one, it was last. Still, though, 315,000%. I'll ride that wave anytime. Let's bring in now one of my favorite experts on the topic, Coin Stories podcast host, Natalie Brunell.
It's the opportunity of our lifetime, especially for young people. We millennials have lived through multiple financial crises. My family lost everything in 08, 09. And we've seen the complete destruction of the value of these slips of paper that the government just prints out of thin air that we sacrifice our time and energy for. And our leaders are in their 70s and 80s, and we've watched them get mega rich while our generation is posting social media videos about how they can't afford rent and groceries. So just to catch up economically has been chaotic for millennials and Gen Z. And Bitcoin is really the bridge from chaos to hope, because young people are thinking about where they can put their money for the next 100 years and how they're going to save for their children and the next generation. So what are they going to buy, Charles? Bonds? No. Gentlemen and ladies of my era don't prefer bonds. A stock index, well, that's basically tracking the inflation of the money supply, and you have a handful of companies making all the gains, so you're buying a few winners that offset hundreds of duds. And when you're picking stocks, how do you know that company is going to be around for 100 years? What about real estate? Well, I can't buy a fraction of a house and take it with me around the globe. I can't buy a fraction of your watch, Charles. So for millennials and young people, Bitcoin is really the solution. It's the tool for economic empowerment, and it will eat into all the other asset classes that have made older generations so wealthy.
Natalie, I got less than a minute to go. The question everyone asks me, though, is how do you trust it?
The greatest thing about Bitcoin is you don't need to trust. You're relying on the currency of the universe, which is energy, and the laws of thermodynamics and math. It is the only form of money that we have that isn't a monopoly, that is decentralized, that is truly scarce, and that is global and completely voluntary for all of us to opt into, so that we can create this parallel path for us and achieve the abundance and prosperity that I know we can achieve.
You know, Natalie, you can't get a fraction of the watch, but next time you're in New York, I'll let you borrow it. All right?
Oh,
All right, you look real cool with all
Sounds
the
good.
Bitcoin folks, because you guys don't walk around with anything. You just got Bitcoin. You know, sometimes you got to be a little flashy. You're great. People have made a lot of money listening to you. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Yeah, I think she hit the nail on the head. And it's pretty cool when you graph it out. I mean, it really is the number one asset over the last 15 years. It's amazing. Now, I will say, like, those couple years when, it doesn't do well, right? It always bounces back, right? Just like the stock market. If there is a crash or a correction, always bounces back. Always. And it'll continue to do that. But I really do think over the next decade, as it continues to be adopted, it is going to be the best, asset that you can buy. I like how Natalie pointed out that you can't buy a fraction of a house. You can't take it with you anywhere. It's not digital. These businesses could go under, and honestly, that 10% return, you're just keeping up with inflation. You're not even, you know what I mean? It's not, you're not really increasing what's in your pocket. You're just holding steady. So, yeah, I really think she hit everything on the head. I also like that she said it's a bridge from chaos to hope. I agree. But I think as, people, friends, family, CEOs, businesses, they start adopting millionaires, billionaires, institutions, countries, and then you got governments. And Trump, who's pro-Bitcoin, I just think over the next 10 years, it's going to be a big adoption phase. Like Michael Saylor says, I think it's going to be the Bitcoin gold rush. So we'll see. We'll see how the market does this week, and I'll keep you guys posted. Thanks.